So it's investing in things that we know, because risk is in the investor, not in the investment. So people ask all the time, is real estate a good investment? I'm like, depends on who's asking.
Yeah.
Is the stock market a good investment? Pretty much never.
The
maybe
answer is
slightly
mostly
biased
no.
on that one. Yeah. Should I buy a business? It all comes down to who you are and what your investor DNA is. Money can be complicated. Let a nerd help you. We're here to demystify the complex nature of money by getting you answers from financial nerds and whiz kids. Welcome to Ask the Money Nerds, a weekly segment of the Wealth Labs podcast where we answer your most pressing money questions. Are you want to be a better investor? Do you know a distraction versus an opportunity, or how to assess or manage risk? Have you wondered if now's a good time to invest, or if there are good deals with this decline and chaos? If you ever wanted to get better at assessing deals, building a team, or finding partners, listen closely. Risk profiles are crap. Risk assessments are more sales tools to put people's money at risk. There are no corners to cut, but there are ways to secure certainty and accelerate results. If you want to keep your money, protect the downside, and if you don't want to participate in this crappy recession, this is the video for you. All right, we've got Chief of Staff Stolba here with me.
Hey.
You're fired up.
I am.
Yeah.
I think these questions are getting me more riled up these days. I don't know if it's the current economic situation or if
You're
I'm
quarantined.
Just
You're edgy.
I was edgy yesterday. Let's just be honest.
Hey.
Oh, it happens to the best of us. But you know what always puts me in a good mood? You know,
Ask
sometimes when, like, I love the drive up here to the cabin. Ask the Money Nerds, yes. Sometimes
I like how you ask a question you don't want an answer to it. I'm just giving you randomness.
Well, I had an answer in mind, and I was thinking on my drive up here, it was so beautiful, blue skies. And then sometimes when you're on a little road trip, you know, it takes me a good hour to get up here. When the right song comes on the radio.
Did you sing out loud?
Oh, you know I did.
I fished. I caught a massive fish, and then I fell in the water.
Mm-hmm. I still have the song stuck in my head. You know, the Whitney Houston remix?
No.
It's like Higher Love, but some DJ kind of did a mix up on it, and I was loving it.
I will
it just
always
got
love
me.
you.
And Justin Justin Bieber.
Admittedly, he's got some good stuff out there.
He does.
I gotta say.
I'm not embarrassed to admit that I'm a Biebs fan.
All right, let's get to the question, Biebs.
Okay. And congratulations on catching the fish, by the way. Okay, Gary wrote in with a question.
Okay.
So here we go. He says, first, thank you, money nerds. My fledgling wealth capture account just saved me during an unexpected financial setback.
Wealth capture account is the money that we have people pay themselves first. It's liquidity, it's savings, it's not invested. It's just there and available at like a bank.
Yes.
Yep.
So he's saying that account saved him from bankruptcy that would have, ensued 6 months ago.
That's why we do these damn videos, Stolba.
Yes. Improvement. Freedom for Gary. Okay. I'm working on rebuilding the funds to maintain staying power and using the CFI to target my debts, which is the cash flow index.
Yep. Loan balance divided by the minimum monthly payment spits out a number. Less than 50. No good.
Yep.
Greater than 100. Great.
Muy bueno.
No bueno and muy bueno. You probably learned that Spanish in Iowa in your Iowa days.
I did high school Spanish. Hey. My teacher would be so proud of me. So he's clarifying debts, or his debt is an actual liability in excess of his assets. Because we know that there's some conversation around like debt.
He
always
owes
seems
more
bad.
than he has in assets.
Yes.
Right.
So this is a true debt. I've done work to nail down my investor DNA, and I'm in a...
We'll talk about what that is.
Yep. And I'm in a period of refocusing my skills and passions gained in the tech industry to be more in alignment with my investor DNA. So here's his question. What resources do you recommend to help one better assess deals, partners, and business models while transitioning from an undereducated employee to a financial independent entrepreneur, investor?
Okay. Entrepreneur is someone that works within an organization but knows how they contribute to the bottom line and they participate in the upside. Mm-hmm. Entrepreneurs start organizations.
Yep.
And investors, they invest.
Yep.
But a lot of people gamble and speculate and call themselves investors.
Yeah, so there's some confusion around
let's start
what
with investor
DNA.
You tell us what it is. What's investor DNA, Stolba?
An investor DNA is investing in things that are in alignment with your sole purpose. So making sure that you're focused on things that you have knowledge over, that you understand, rather than diving into something you have very little understanding of and hoping and wishing that it'll work out. But you can use your skills and your everything that you are to make it work.
Right. So the key terms there, you said focus instead of diversify.
Yep.
Diversification is diversification for a lot of people. Admission of ignorance. They don't know it's going to work. They spread themselves thin. Abilities or skills. You mentioned the word skills. Yeah, like knowing what you're doing, right? Knowledge was another word that you used there. And I would even say values, because part of that soul purpose conversation, which is SOUL, is our values, our abilities, our passions combined for the highest context of our living or our vision.
Yeah.
So it's investing in things that we know, because risk is in the investor, not in the investment. So people ask all the time, is real estate a good investment? I'm like, depends on who's asking.
Yeah.
Is the stock market a good investment? Pretty much never.
The
Maybe
answer is
slightly
mostly
biased
no.
on that one. Yeah. Should I buy a business? It all comes down to who you are and what your investor DNA is. So one of the best tools or resources is you go to wealthfactory.com/scorecard. So risk profile is stupid. Risk profile would say, hey, on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being that you don't like to take risk at all, and 5 is that you're willing to take a lot of risk, how much risk do you want to take? Now, people say 5 because they think risk equals return. And it's all of these questions to get you to part with your money and taking a bunch of risks, so that when you lose, they're like, well, you said you want to take a lot of risk. Now, imagine I ask you this
Sounds like
question.
a painful survey.
Yeah, imagine I ask you those questions the day after you lost everything you had. What do you want to do?
The number is going to be much smaller.
Right, and you want to punch me in the face because you're like,
karate chop you in the throat.
You're like, I was willing to take these high numbers because I thought I was going to make a ton of money.
Yeah.
We're looking at risk management, risk mitigation instead of risk tolerance. People don't have risk tolerance, they have loss tolerance. How much do you want to lose? Don't lose money. That's just not, that's not a good idea. So wealthfactory.com/scorecard gives people 10 questions to see how aligned an investment is with their investor DNA. So that's kind of a cool, resource. He asked for 1.
That's a good one.
Let's see what else we got here. I think that there's good courses to take and to be an apprentice. So I was an apprentice once. I don't know whether it was official or not, but I was in this investments course where the professor had donated $250,000 to the class. I mean, he managed $5 billion in municipal bond funds before he became a professor. And he said that he wanted to get in better shape. So I said, well, great. I'd be happy to work out with you. And we played racquetball and lifted weights. And so what ended up happening is we'd go and have lunch afterwards, or dinner, or yogurt, or whatever it was. And I just asked him questions. So I got to learn a massive amount because I stepped up and at a young age was just willing to say, hey, I'll add value to your life since you want to work out more. And then I was able to kind of ask questions. And so learn from people who've done great things. I think that's a big part of it. And be willing to add value to their life. Be willing to work for them for free, even for a time, just to learn from them, which we had, think about Callahan, right? Who came and worked with us one summer. And I think he got paid a few bucks here and there because, but most of the time it was just him wanting to learn.
To learn, yeah.
And he said it was a 14 out of 10 apprenticeship.
Wow.
And for those of you that know his famous brother who wrote Never Lose a Customer Again, Joey, he said that when he worked for Joey, it wasn't nearly as good. So just saying that. So,
and that didn't cost you anything. That relationship didn't cost you anything.
It
Other than your
added
time,
value to
right?
to my life because he was always willing to do stuff and learn and take notes and help out. So
right, it's not like you had to pay a couple $1,000s to have a mentor. And
the other thing is, when I was in college, there was actually a program called LEAP, LEAP. It's kind of a life insurance selling program, Lifetime Economic Acceleration Program it stood for. But I went and got licensed for the software and licensed in the education, which meant I had VHS tapes that I watched. I went to classes. I spent, I think it was $4,900 or $5,500 on it, which was basically everything I'd saved up until that point, which was a fraction of what college would have cost. But it gave me so much knowledge, and I built so many relationships, and I really immersed myself in that. So find something that you can really learn from and be willing to invest in that, to expose that skill set, to develop that skill set, And for me, that was one of them. I also went to this thing called the Taggart Symposium. So that at the Taggart Symposium, there's this guy, Greg Barrick, and he was teaching charitable remainder trusts. I just went to the class and I read an article that he wrote. And then when I had a complicated situation with a client that wanted to sell their business, wanted to minimize their taxes, and I was saying, well, you should have tried a charitable trust. And his attorney made me feel like I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. So I just reached out to Greg Barrick, said, I heard you speak. I read your article. Here's the situation. And then Greg and I became friends, and he helped my client out, who didn't have to pay tax on the sale of his business. So I was right, but only like academically. I didn't know how to apply it. So I found the right people for that. But see, like attending things makes a huge difference, because you can talk to people, you can ask them questions, you can put their best foot forward when they give some of these talks. And hell, maybe right now that's all virtual, but I think that hopefully we'll
can still be done.
Get back to a place. So I also found that like just interviewing authors and getting to know authors, and as an author, maybe it seems like it's easy for me, but let's use Drew, who works with us, right? He's just one that was the first to like something or comment on something or promote us, and got introduced and like simply became an advocate. And I think that everyone that's putting content out there, or that's an expert in the area that you're trying to learn, there's ways that you could be of value to them, whether you write them a check or not. And I think that the only thing is most people just aren't willing to reach out or make that comment or add value, or that, they say the phrase, which I don't love, like, I want to pick your brain. Nobody wants their brain picked. You want to add value to their life.
Yeah, definitely.
I think way back when, I had a teacher, Terry Tubbs, that helped me out with entrepreneurship competition. Then my mom worked with the woman, Patty Rigby, that turned around and helped me learn how to do balance statements and income statements for this, balance sheets and income statements. Like there's so many people willing to help, that are willing to give, but most people just don't know how to ask for support, aren't willing to take that support. So I like this question, because this is how you become a better investor, is you spend time with people who are great at those types of things. I mean, I've spoken at real estate programs that they're always looking for apprentices, and sometimes that means doing the grunt work but you get to learn from brilliant minds doing those types of things.
I think one thing that I've heard you say on a couple of occasions is have 3 to 5 things tucked in the back of your mind that when someone says, hey, what can I do for you? How can I support you? You already have items that you can ask for. I know I've been in the situation where people have asked me those questions, and I'm like, I can't really think of anything. Let me get back to you. And then I never get back to them because life happens and I feel like I missed the opportunity. And so I think that's one thing that I've heard you say that would apply to this situation is to have Gary like really look at, hey, these are 3 to 5 major things that I could really use some support on.
Right.
And so it can be a reciprocal relationship.
I love it. So who do you know that can make a major advancement for you? I mean, people all the time are putting comments on YouTube like, hey, I want you to mentor me. Well, they can go to askthemoneynerds.com, and it's one of the ways we could do it without them having to write a check or, be able to, if they can't afford it, but they can still get that advice and resource, or I'm commenting back and exchanging. So, look to build those relationships, look to add value to their life, look for a way that you can accelerate the results in the way that you learn, whether that, like, I like having the direct conversations or interviewing someone or, being able to attend something. And so this is a decent format and formula. And we gave a really cool resource with wealthfactory.com/scorecard. So ask your questions. We'll bring the answers, askthemoneynerds.com, and build the life you love.